I think so. We're going to find out in that Ngannou fight. I'm so interested in that fight. They did train briefly together. The UFC kind of played that up a little bit too much, by the way, about
Yeah.
how they were, long time training. They weren't. Francis had pretty much left for Vegas at that point when Gon started training there. But it is interesting, right? He's sort of breaking all the rules of traditional MMA. He's got 10 fights. He's a UFC interim champ. We just don't see that happen too often. And he's getting really quality wins. I mean, you look at Rosenstrike, you look at Volkov, you look at Lewis to finish Lewis the way he did in the third round. I mean, Lewis is an extremely hard guy to beat, and he went out there and made it look relatively easy. So there's a lot of intrigue in what could happen in that Ngannou fight. I think there's a possibility of Gon, pulling this one off. I think Ngannou, with his experience, at some point, experience has got to play a role in the fight. I think this might be the fight where Ngannou ends up getting it done, but I don't know. I honestly can't answer that because I don't even think we've seen the best Cyril yet. I think there's so much potential tapped in there. He's not even for heavyweight. He's actually a pretty young guy in terms of the weight class. You look at a lot of the heavyweights are 36 plus, and Gon's a little bit younger than that. So there's a lot of room for improvement there, and I'm very curious to see how he does. But I'll say right now, we could have that. Remember, we thought that remember the Machida era when Lyoto Machida won the title, and we thought no one's going to solve this guy, and then Shogun did, and it sort of went from there. So we'll see, but it's nice to have some excitement in the division where we have this fighter that there really is a lot of unknowns in a good way of how good this guy could really be.
And I brought up John Jones there for a second. And we're kind of at a weird spot with John Jones where he's not competing. He's on Twitter saying, oh, I want to compete, but I want to get paid to do so. I want to get paid for these big fights. And odds are he probably deserves to get paid more for these big fights. But at the same time, he's not competing. He's had his history, the John Jones history that everybody knows about. What would you put the odds on him even competing by the end of 2022? Do you think he's coming back without a doubt in the near future? Or do you think it's still kind of up in the air whether or not he even comes back?
I think he'll fight next year. This year's just too tough with obviously Gon winning the interim title. He'll be next. I know there's some rumblings about him fighting Stipe, but I just don't see that as something that benefits John a lot. I mean, you're a champion going to another division. That is enough sort of notoriety to probably get you a title fight. Why would you take a one-off? What if he fights Stipe and loses? Then he's lost any opportunity at a title shot. So I think he'll wait for the winner of Gon and Ngannou whenever that fight takes place. I do kind of think John didn't play his hand very well in this whole thing because he talked about moving up. Why did you not negotiate the salary before you moved up and decided to bulk up and all that? I figured that was already a done deal because why say you're going to do this? Or maybe he just felt that he has so much leverage that it wouldn't matter. The UFC would cave to his demands, but that's clearly not as what has happened. He has switched management. He's working with, I believe, the former head of Golden Boy. So we'll see if that ends up working out for him in his favor. But I think John will fight next year. I just think it's going to take a lot of time to get the number of where both sides are happy. But I mean, John can't sit on the sidelines forever. I know he claims he can, but I mean, he's got a lot of kids. He's got a lot of things going on. I can't see him, staying out for too long, especially with how much he's missed already in his career due to all the things outside the cage.